In the kit, we give you a 15.5 inch, I think it's 0.063 inch diameter landing gear wire. It's very light and very easy to use, but it's longer than what we need. But before we go ahead and cut it to size, we're going to go ahead and work from the middle out. So half of 15.5 inches is 7 3/4. As far as centimeters goes, half of 40 is 20. Now we're going to go ahead and bend this, and we're going to bend it to about a 60-degree angle. We're going to want to bend this in a way that 2 inches out at the 2-inch point or the 5 centimeter point, it's the same width as the inside of the fuselage, and kind of open it up till just at that point right there. Once it's there, that should be the 2-inch mark or 5 centimeters. We're going to go ahead and bend 90 degrees down. Now at this point, it's not more important to worry about measurements. It's more important to match up both sides. We're going to repeat this exact same size, so if you measure this and it's not 2 inches or 5 centimeters, follow whatever measurement that is. That's the one you want to follow. In this case, it is 2 inches, so we're going to repeat it on the other side. It's very important that you go ahead and do one side and then the other. Don't try to complete the whole side of the landing gear and go back. Makes life a lot easier, because now we can go ahead and twist and bend and get everything uniform. Little subtle tweaks, that's all you need to do. For the vertical leg of our landing gear, it's going to be 2 inches or 5 centimeters once again. And this time, we're going to be bending the axle. Going to go back, confirm our measurement, still 2 inches. If it's a little off, say it's 1 3/4 inches, this side now becomes 1 3/4. But in this case, it's 2 inches, so I'll simply go over here. Landing gears are one of the most complicated things on planes because it's very difficult to get them straight. Doing this off the plane and using the table to make sure things like your axles, you can see that's bent a little bit crooked, are nice and flat. Makes it a lot easier. Little subtle bends. At this point, we can actually make our foam wheels included in the kit, but if you want something a little bit more durable, these are available at most hobby stores and soon to come to our store once our order arrives. But in the kit, because we don't want to leave anyone without wheels, we actually included these little guys right here. These are not going to last you forever, but they do give you something to roll on. But to show you how to make these, we're simply going to take this coffee stir. We're going to go ahead with the twisting motion, pass it on through. If you have to open up just a little bit, go ahead with your barbecue skewer. And do this with 2 of your discs. Don't worry about the little flanges here. Now if you're scratch building this, it's very difficult to get a perfectly round circle. I'd highly recommend that you just simply go to your hobby store or go online and order them. Laser Toys, Hobby King, all the great little hobby shops have them. You can get them for about $1 or $2. With these both on, I'm simply going to put a little ribbon of glue. A little drop in the center. I'm going to go ahead and bring this top down, and I'm going to smush them together, let all that glue go down. I'm going to line up the edges. Now I can go ahead and take a little bit of scrap, smear this smooth. Once you're happy with that, simply cut it about 1 millimeter on each side. You now have a finished wheel. Now for this model, because we're going to be going to an indoor flying event, I'm going to go ahead and use these wheels instead. Now in your kit, you're going to see a small piece of foam that's just a simple rectangle. All we need to simply do is take this and center it right on top. You go ahead and press down firmly. It's more important that the landing gear is perpendicular to the far leading edge here than that your bend is perfect. But if you can see there, we have an indent now on both sides. Now go ahead and take your razor blade and follow over that. Don't cut completely through, just do a 50% score cut. I'm going to take our barbecue skewer, we're going to go ahead and open this up. Now with our cavity opened up, force some hot glue down inside this. And with the same motion that we just practiced, press the landing gear down and all the way through. You can then go back and reinforce the area with a little bit more hot glue and go ahead and smear it with a scrap piece of foam. At this point, we're ready to install this. Let's go ahead and do a test fit though first. The motion we're going to want to follow, we're going to slide this down underneath, all the way back, use our finger, pinch it together. Once we're happy with the fit and the look, go ahead and put some glue on and do it final. Once again, you do not need to put the landing gear on. It definitely makes the plane look a little bit better. But if you leave it off, make sure that you balance the plane properly, because this does add a little bit of the weight in front of the CG, and you're going to want to compensate with your battery position. Now we're ready to put on our wheel pants and our landing gear. Now, depending on what you chose, I'm going to go ahead and choose these guys. Before we put this on, I'm going to go ahead and go back and cut this down a little bit later. There we go. I'm just going to start this through, put our wheel in, and then finish it off. Before I glue this in, I'm going to do the other side. Now you can see right now the wheel pants are kind of droopy. To make these really solid and really firm, take the pointy end of your barbecue skewer and with it sitting on the table, simply make a scratch mark, right along about 1/4 inch or 5 millimeters up along the edge. We're going to use that reference line to go ahead and put a score cut through the first piece of foam. Don't go all the way through, just go to the other side of the paper. This is going to go ahead and give us the ability now to push this landing gear into the foam and establish the proper angle for the wheel pants. Once you're happy with that angle, put a little drop of glue right over that slot that you just cut, and slide it right in. Use a scrap piece of foam, smear it over, and set it back on the table to dry. Our wheel pants are now done.